Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're here for 2 more episodes of Princess Tutu. 2 more of Tutu, of course. And yeah, very excited to be jumping back in. Yeah, last week laid the groundwork in a big way, for sure. Like, we now know the episodic structure, have a general expectation of what at least the next few episodes are going to look like. Bit of intrigue here and there, a few more emotions for Muto-senpai. Bit of reveals around Ruchan and whatever else there as well. Fuck yeah. And yeah, more Tutu transformations as well, which we do love to see. We have the YouTube comments up here ready to go as well, only the one here today from Pencil Sharp, which brings up a good point. So, in my analysis last week, again, I believe episode 3 there is named after Sleeping Beauty, I was considering the Sleeping Beauty story that I was familiar with, which was, of course, the Disney film. This isn't true to life, the full actual story. The ballet goes in some different directions. So in the Sleeping Beauty ballet, not just Aurora, but the whole kingdom gets put into a 100-year sleep. I believe Princess Tutu in episode 3 represents the prince, who is not part of the story in Act 1, but enters the story 100 years later in Act 2 to get things moving again. The other interesting thing about the ballet is that it's a multi-fairy tale crossover work. Act 3 has characters like Puss in Boots, Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood attend the grand wedding, as well as this being the second of the 3 ballets that Tchaikovsky has done, including Swan Lake and the Nutcracker. A few things. I'm very interested in this because, again, it seems that Princess Tutu is this already established character, like not from the story that Drosselmeyer was writing, that has almost kind of escaped her story in a weird way as well, in the same way that the prince and the raven escaped theirs. So, food for thought. People seem to be, at least Ruchan seems to be cognizant of who Princess Tutu is and what her general idea is as well. Something she won't end up with the prince, she'll disappear or something, I think was the end there. I'm sure we'll reiterate it here in time. So yeah, like, the story of the prince and the raven has already been going on in Act 1. We're now kind of entering Act 2, and we have this prince or princess character entering in this one and sussing things out and getting things moving again. It's kind of what her role is. Yeah, it's very smart. Something that I wish that I did more research on, so I'm gonna be having a look for sure. Based on whatever these next 2 episodes' titles are. And yeah, I kind of went into the multi-fairy tale thing already. People escaping from various books, potentially Prince and Raven from one, potentially Princess Tutu from another. Just throwing it out there, you never know. As well as, again, the episodic structure of the show kind of involving multi-fairy tales as well. We referenced Hansel and Gretel as well. Not exactly a fairy tale, but I think it's like a Grimm thing, I think. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of like a crossover as well, the episodic structure. Anti Arena and Ebene, the restaurant, I remember. Sure. With that, we'll close out that YouTube comment and we'll jump over to the Patreon to give them a shout out. If you're really enjoying the Princess Tutu series, I actually was pretty impressed with the views on it on episode 1. People like to see it. That's nice to see. I like that. So yeah, if you're one of those Princess Tutu freaks and you want to see the next week's 1 week early, Patreon is linked in the description below. It's available to you. As well as, you know, there's a couple of other shows there, Mushi-Shi and something else, a mystery show. As it is right now. Either way, thank you to my current patrons such as AJ, Akumancer, Bananarama Hamadama-sama, Capella, Choberibi, Dapper Dwarf, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fruit, Gloria Tenebrae, Glyke, Hans Peter, Ika, Yako Yavanen, Joran, Kasogtha, Clem, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Matthew Bratcher, Mickey Babbers, Miru, Mistake L. Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Aussie, Panic, Pencil Sharp 333, Pointed Snowdrop, Runlad B&K, St. Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Tentacult Member, Waifu Overdose Without a Net, Kelvin, Binshi, Jami Boo, Aidan O'Brien, and Bisa. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. Princess Tutu is alive. Let me restart. Princess Tutu is a televisual program starring Ahiru. She is a duck, but she is also a girl, and she is also a Princess Tutu. And she's going to go and solve Muto Senpai's general problem, which is the lack of emotions. He's this prince that escaped this story from long ago, sealed the Raven away, evil Raven. We don't like the Raven very much. And yeah, in kind of response, lost all those emotions that we are now gathering again. So that's the big picture story. I don't know, there's also like ballet stuff, and the show's also very episodic, so it's kind of hard to talk about. This episode's called Giselle, this next one, so interested to see where that goes as well, I guess. I guess the most pressing thing is that Fakir and Ruchan are learning more and more about Princess Tutu's identity, her role, and how she may impact things, and they seem to have a vested interest in Muto Senpai potentially staying the way that he is currently. Just food for thought, we'll see. Either way, I'll get that episode up now. Let's watch episode 4 of Princess Tutu, let's go. And finally, radio, there we have episode 4 of Princess Tutu up there ready to go. Guess I should fill in the context. I started recording this episode and then we had a blackout, so not cool. I was only a minute in, so I really only just saw the starting little scene before, again, it all went to shit, really. So yeah, just a little bit frustrated at that. Just everything that can go wrong will go wrong sometimes, and that's okay. Anyway. 23 minutes and 56 seconds on this one. Sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have the official version, and there should be a picture-in-picture version in the description below as well, if I can speak. Let's give this a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. A sad love that would never be requited. So my question, having already read this once, well, I've seen this scene once, is the unrequited love we're talking about there, is that a love outside the story or a love within it? Because then we go on to talk about Drosselmeyer pretty clearly, right? A storyteller that passed away. Fair enough. Did Drosselmeyer have somebody that he loved? Or are we just talking about Muto Senpai, the prince? Because that could be interesting. Again, like a love that could never be requited. Yeah? Who knows? I don't know. If it is within the story, there are only 2 characters in that story that I know about, which is the Raven and the Prince. And saying the words like a sad love that would never be requited in that context is strange to me. Anyway. I keep forgetting she's a duck. I'm sure I'll get there eventually. Really like this scene in the opening. I think it's framed really well. And they kind of drift in very similar to kind of the, you know, stage decorations and whatever else there. The sets, I guess you would call them. This is a banger, dude. Who came up with this shit? Stained glass window. Roses. Ruchan. Giselle. This is like the advanced class or whatever. Oh, and we're watching along. Brilliant. Brilliant. Who's playing the piano as well? I want to have a look at that. You dance that good when you're Princess Tutu. You gotta get back to normal class first. Come on now. Yeah, I just said that. I'm just a duck, I'm not a swan. A duck with its bum all out, that was odd. Shin the stanky leg. How the fuck are you doing that? She seems in pain. This clock again. Who the hell are you talking to? The thought police over here. God. Lonely? We did that last week. He's pretty aggro. I don't know about this guy. A fate worse than death. Being a furry. I jest. Yeah, that's all very intriguing to me, because you said... Felt like your heart was calling out to somebody. Yeah. Great point. You can restore his heart and then not confess to him. But you are. It's denial. Oh, it's like a penguin. I thought it was a turtle or something. He's chill as. Yo. This song, too. But how could you possibly be lonely when I'm here, you know? What a buzzkill. It's clearly Princess Tutu. We established this last week. Yeah, characters from a story, they could never appear in reality. Okay, you two. This is one of the weirdest love triangles ever. She's killing it. That's very admirable. You're also twisting her neck so she's... Don't do that. I'm not having as much of a good time now, no. Well, I don't think that's a good idea. You can practice with her, though. What? Oh, he has aura. Yo. Cats always land on their feet now. Just like that. Well, that's good news. Okay, thanks, Dad. Another successful teaching escapade. Yeah, I was like, what's that sound? It's the wind. I like her outfit here. He's talking to the wind? Cool shot. Pink roses. Utana. Close by. Alright, he's been spirited away somewhere. Get out of here. Okay, she's great. Look at those socks, outrageous too. She's got that Pippi Longstocking stuff on. Where's Mewtwo gone? Endurance freak. That was fantastic. No, stop. She's... yeah. It's a really weird vibe. It's like the town's abandoned or something. Okay. But there still would be two pair of eyes no matter where we went. Okay, but if you want to stick together, we can do that. That's fine. Ah, just since we were created. Rusan? Sana? Because it feels gross to say. Not taking no for an answer. They're cute. I like those two. Bat. Wonder where this episode's going. Maybe there. Maybe whatever the hell these ghost people are. Oh, well, there he is. She said it first. She likes him more. Whoa. Whoa. Everything in this show is shocking to me. I don't know why. Oh, Edel. Adele? Edel? She's a little bit suspicious. For sure. But it might. Giselle. Oh, that's okay. That's clearly what the intro was talking about now, too. We're gonna save him. The way is open. The way is clear. She tells a compelling story. Or is it even a story? Interesting. This is cool. Oh, love her eyes. It's kind of cute. Need someone to tag in. I think this show might be fantastic. So much going on here. Dance battle. Oh, you're stealing all my material, damn it. They'd just be spinning for days. Isn't that lovely? Mm-hmm. Let me impart on you suffering. Yeah, I mean, you know, the full spectrum of emotions is important. But it is a little bit funny to give him the power of suffering. Yeah, I mean, the most pressing thing here plot-wise is that Ruchan just saw all of that. Yes, it is. How dare you even jest about that, Drosselmeyer? Come on now. The full spectrum of human emotion and the highs and the lows are what makes the highs so good, you know. Yeah, that episode was great. I think it's the first mini story, episodic little thing that we're doing outside of the larger narrative that was individually compelling. I liked the story of Giselle and seeing how that weaved in with everybody else's stuff. I thought that was a little bit more deft than the stuff we had been doing up to this point. Just thought it fit a lot more. I could see Giselle parallels between, obviously, again, the ones we brought up in the episode with Princess Tutu and Ahiru, but also some to Ruchan for sure. Even some to Idol. That was, yeah. She's got some stuff going on too, for sure. Ruchan fascinates me. Because on the one hand, it seems that she's like a bad influence over Muto-senpai and wants only a certain thing from him, but towards the end, she was still really exerting a lot of effort and, like, trying to save him in her own way. She's also very proud. She didn't want to... In the opening scene, she didn't want to fail that dance. It's admirable, I think. Obviously, again, she isn't a villain. She's kind of like a half and half at the moment. She's weird. Okay, we'll hold that there. That looks like some great fun, though. We'll We'll unpack whatever the hell's going on there in but a moment. And there we have it, episode 5 of Princess Tutu up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 56 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have the official stuff. So get that copy if you want my copy. If not, picture-in-picture version in the description below. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Happy. I must remember that based on previous episode and the track record thus far, these are mostly about the episode upcoming, not generally the overall story all the time. Really spamming that loneliness line, which is an interesting one. And the other thing we mentioned there is that he was a happy prince. So it seems like we're really bringing up that you know, the stark contrast between, you know, strong positive and negative emotions. Like, you know, it seems that right now Tutu's only given him, you know, the bad emotions, but I feel like there's almost like counter levers. You get like the good side as well, you know. Because again, he's emotionless at the moment, right? Or, you know, before we entered the story, right? Very muted. And then again, so now we're introducing like sorrow, but sorrow is only possible because of, you know, you feeling a strong positive emotion to go along with it, right? You wouldn't feel sorrowful out of nowhere. Say like a loved one died. It's because you loved them so much. It's because you had a positive emotion there to counter. You know, you're only lonely because you miss people. You miss their company, which is a positive emotion. I don't know, it doesn't seem like rocket science to me, but anyway, I digress. What a great background. Ooh, hello. They're always fighting out of nowhere. Dramatic? On the night of the Fire Festival. I love her. She's the best. I'll make you marry me. We're gonna dance away. Escape dance. Okay. Okay. Some penguin drum vibes there a little bit. fun. Look at everybody in the corner. They're like a bouquet of people. It was really weird. It was like his reflection spoke to him or something. No, it's... you have to confess to him and then you vanish. Okay, what the hell's happening? The Fourth Musketeer? I remember. What, does she think that he looks really suave right now? I just think he looks kind of funny. Where's she been? Just reading the story. It doesn't feel quite right, though, does it? Strong guy. That's Mrs. Steal Your Boyfriend. Little bit. She's quick. Ducks have an amazing top speed. Oh, I forgot about that. Fuck yeah. Who the fuck are you? Ahiru's chill. She's not going to do anything. Yeah, that's not what happened at all. Why is it... Dance with me instead. We're gonna trap him up in some tall tower. He's a veritable damsel at the moment. In distress, one might add. Oh! She was just getting ready. Just a single drop. Oh, that's... What a wonderful shot. Okay, so you don't need much. And she also put on her clothes very quickly. Because I stole your spot. Fakir stole him. Oh, that's a very sweet thing to say. What's the time period? I think I'm moving away from my Ruchan Raven theory. It doesn't seem like she knows as much as I thought that she did. I don't know. That's probably a larger discussion for later. She's actually badass. Okay, you're not dumb. So you gave me info just then. Do you not hear yourself? You sound like a villain. No more than you. Andy's hair's terrible. Did he hear any of that? Muto, I mean? What the fuck? Haunted tile? I love her theme. Edel. It's funny because I just had a blackout before, so all this contrast stuff's really fun. She's like mom. She's just like kind of proud of you when you figure things out. I like that. Just chaotic. Motherfucker, I'm in a dungeon? Do you think that's him laughing? It's like a riddle. Something little that floods the whole room? Light? She's bad at riddles. She's like me. A candle? Just don't be afraid of the dark now. Tutu will light up the dark. She's good like that. Ooh. Ah. Oh, she's cool. I like how her design doesn't have a lot of detail. Whoa! Oh yeah, the festival too, of course. And the bonfire. This is all quite cohesive. Dance with me, literal flame. No, dance with me. Or maybe this is okay, I don't know. This is cool. That's a positive feeling. We like that. So the sound work there is really fun. Isn't that wonderful? It's a little chime. What a restraint shown there, Tutu. I believe somebody said in the past we're using that as Miss Rue's theme. Just the dancing scenes of the show are really good too. Yeah, it's got to feel a little bit weird. Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's an interesting interpretation. I guess you're correct, Drosselmeyer, my good friend. Huh. Bit of a weirder episode. It's still really good. Much shine on a rewatch when you have a little bit of a better idea about where things are going. If anything, the theme out of these two episodes is that I thought I was a comfortable little boy, but I'm not really. I'm not as comfortable as I thought. There's lots to think about. I think it's a really interesting scene there at the end because, again, Ahiru's in a position where clearly she wants to dance with him. She can't. She, in turn, kind of feels like, lamp girl, I want to illuminate people. I want to, allow for their happiness, but I'm also doing it in a sacrificial kind of way. Like, hey, it's not my role to be appreciated for being the light. It's my role just to be the light. To be almost the spotlight on this other couple. But in that same way, I'm like feeling all the negative emotions for their positive emotions. But then, on the other side, you have Ruchan who's like, oh shit, he's getting emotions back and I'm not involved there? And I know the Princess Tutu shit's going on now, so before you came here, you were with Tutu? Like, that's the feeling going through her head at the moment. It's all very interesting to me. Who the fuck are you? Okay, looks like a fairly normal episode next week. That's good. Wait, why are they dancing together? Weird. Dreaming Aurora. I guess we'll see next week. That's all very odd to me. Yeah, you'll see me in a moment for some analysis on those two episodes. And we're back. It's the next day. 2 more episodes of Tutu in the books. And yeah, very, very much enjoyable once again. Just a really strong, quality show across the board is Tutu. Just these episodes and their construction, man. They're blowing me away. It's such an easy show to watch. It's a joy from that perspective first and foremost. I guess I want to center, my initial thoughts here around the characters of Ruchan and Fakir, who I think we learn the most about in this 2-episode chunk, I would say. Again, I think that Ahiru is pretty well established. She's the protagonist, she's the fish out of water, the duck out of water, excuse me, and she's going to be introduced to a lot of these concepts as the audience is. She's very protagonisty, helps her friends, is a little bit confused about things, openly queries them, that kind of thing. She's a little bit in the dark, so to say. Muto-senpai, for right now, he's essentially our damsel in distress that we need to save every time and, save progressively, get his emotions back. To Ahiru's own self-serving end, for his personal affection of me as Ahiru, yet to be seen. That's more later plot stuff you would imagine, but for right now, we just need to collect his emotions and make him a feeling boy. I think, again, once he progresses more and more into gaining his emotions back, we'll start to consider him as a character a little bit more. Which leaves the other two main characters, I would say, which is Fakir and Ruchan, which we learnt a fair bit about here today. So a few things. One, I think it's been previously established that both Fakir and Ruchan are both personally, I guess, informed about the story of the Prince and the Raven and the prince's particular role there, and Muto Senpai as the prince. They're all knowledgeable about that, even though that's a broader, larger secret away from the rest of the society of, I guess, the show. Then, I believe it's about breaking down, like, what are people's, like, genuine emotions here? To me, it seems that Ruchan, based on evidence, right, has somewhat of a genuine crush of Muto Senpai. Again, she's chasing him around in episode 4. She's making him say, I love you to her. Like, that must be to some end. She must like him on some level. As well as, again, the dance at the end of episode 5. Again, she waited for him all night on the advice of Ahiru. That's why she did what she did. Like, she wouldn't do that if she didn't actually like him. She'd do something more useful with her time. Now, I initially read this, her affection for Muto Senpai, as a little bit of, like she's the Raven and she's kind of rubbing it in. Like, oh, I've kind of got one over on you and I'm going to, keep you a certain way, blah, 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 to almost like say, ha, stole your emotions, stinky. I know I can never be the Raven again, that I've been sealed from that side of things, but you've also been sealed. So me making you say these things is like almost taunting him, But I'm moving more and more away from this Ruchan Raven theory. I don't think that it's quite as correct, or at least if she isn't cognizant of it. For one, I think that she knows less relative to Fakir, who seems to know a lot more about everything that's going on. But another one would be that she has knowledge of Princess Tutu. So, like, at least some prior knowledge, and then sees her in episode 4, of course. That's a little bit odd, because it seems that Fakir knows nothing. Because she's, like, reading up on it, and we see some art in the book that we'll probably pause and have a look at, too. And then Fakir, on his side of things, is a lot like, okay, he would seem to prefer Muto Senpai to be emotionless. That having no emotions is better than feeling, I guess, the highs and the lows of the human experience. Which, again, we've seen fiction before, we've lived lives before, we know that that isn't the case. We would like to feel the happy emotions and the sad emotions because the contrast is what makes both of those things great. To feel things. We love to feel things, folks, of course. And Fakir clearly disagrees. Again, that's probably based on his own personal experience. I'm sure we'll be diving into that more and more as we learn more about him as a character as well. I do like the metaphor of keeping him in the dark as opposed to the light in that episode 5, as well as, again, we do some fun stuff with the light, with the other side, a little bit later on. Another thing I need to note is that often these opening little things that we do aren't a contiguous story relating to big overall macro characters. They're normally pretty self-contained to their episode. Like this one, we've got the Rosemary that Giselle had along with the Prince's sword. They cross at some point in the episode. That's probably what we're getting at with all this early dialogue about unrequited love and that being sad. So yeah, less overall thoughts there on these things and more just setting up the episode, But yeah, I mean, we'll dive back through here. I had many moments where I wanted to pause and just say a bunch of stuff, so I'm sure I'll have the opportunity in the here and now to do so. I look forward to it. I mean, I say all that, right? That these are only about Giselle, that this stuff is only about Giselle, but we get a lot of the content in the show by contrasting the characters off of the episodic characters, right? Like, there's a reason why we're associating, Ahiru, Tutu, and the Lamp Girl later on. And likewise, we're doing a lot of stuff with Giselle and both the female leads here as well. So, like it's not without... We shouldn't just outright discard it, because there's some stuff here about the overall story, and I guess a sorrowful, unrequited love not being itself enough to generate a story, especially with the storyteller gone. As that line earlier from Edel as well, a story without an ending is a sad thing. Just lots to think about there overall even. And yeah, the story in this case is wandering in search of its conclusion, literally, like it's wandering like as a ghost, shambling around, grabbing people, inserting them when they shouldn't be inserted, that kind of thing. We have Act 4 here. That says Giselle. That says Giselle. I'm gonna imagine this says like Giselle or something, or Ru. That's Re to me. I don't know. I don't speak this language. Shut up. Yeah, the episode title is Giselle, which I guess I'll look up and gain some stuff. So, Wikipedia, Giselle. Giselle is a romantic ballet in 2 acts with music by Adolphe Adam. Adolphe? I don't know. It is based on both this, I don't know what this is, but Victor Hugo, I know who that is, for sure. So that's, yeah, okay, sure. Very cultured. The ghost-filled ballet tells the tragic romantic story of a beautiful young peasant girl named Giselle and a disguised nobleman named Albrecht, we're going to say, who fall in love, but when his true identity is revealed by his rival, Hilarion? That's Hilarion to me. Giselle goes mad and dies of heartbreak. Less funny. After her death, she is summoned from the grave into the vengeful, deadly sisterhood of the Willis, which are probably the group of ladies we see at the end of the episode. The ghosts of unmarried women who died after being betrayed by their lovers and take revenge in the night by dancing men to death by exhaustion. Damn. Led by Mithra, the queen of the Willis, they target Albrecht when he comes to mourn Giselle's grave, but her great love frees him from their grasp. They gain their power in numbers as they effortlessly move through dramatic patterns and synchronized movements and control the stage with their long tulle dresses and stoic expressions, creating an ethereal atmosphere that builds as they gradually close in on Albrecht. By saving him from the Willis, Giselle also saves herself from becoming one of them. So to me that sounds broadly pretty romantic, and I mean, you can kind of see how that involves itself with the events of the episode. I'm sure I'll bring it up when those events do indeed occur. And yeah, Princess Tutu almost superseding Ruchan in that role of Giselle, almost in turn taking that lead role almost, you know, that center. The one that is eventually able to, I guess, save Albrecht in this case, which is Muto Senpai. Yeah, she's the one that's able to do that where Ruchan fails. Because again, back over here, we're clearly building something early in the episode that is a huge differentiating factor between Ruchan and Ahiru. Like, that's basically the point of the episode, is to contrast them and compare them. So seeing that ultimately Tutu steals the role that, you know, that Ruchan was supposed to have, like, that's got to hurt at least a little bit. It's interesting that we're in the special class, right? The A class or whatever. And we've also got a group of girls just kind of watching along, watching their center. It's almost like they're the Willis and they're watching their respective Giselle. There's maybe something in that. I wonder if these girls will be fleshed out in any detail at all either. Like, could we be more obvious? They're literally fangirling out, watching along, doing all the dance moves, just like in awe of her, you know? And of course, the 2 friends are obviously still fantastic. They're, yeah, loving everything that they do. We do some clever stuff with some match cutting here, like literally comparing Giselle to Tutu, as Ahiru ponders if she could do this routine as Tutu, right? She seems a lot more switched on than I am, at least. And yeah, further to this, again, contrast between the 2 sides of her, right? She's all very switched on, prim, proper, perfect as Princess Tutu. But when she's a duck, she's just a duck. And her name's Ahiru. She's just a duck, you know? Like, who's the real me in that respect, right? When I vary so much depending on what I use. You know, it's that classic superhero thing. What am I beyond the power? You know, am I just an ordinary person? As Ruchan's performance kind of continues here, she's increasingly strained and there's a lot of focus on her feet, where it seems that her toes are about to go, which I can't imagine that's particularly, you know, good for you. It looks painful. And again, Ahiru is the first one to notice, shows genuine care for another person regardless of status or social condition or whether she should or not. She's going to yell out and try to help somebody in need. Once again, very protagonisty, which we do enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if the Ruchan thing is somewhat of an act. She isn't, you know, being that perfect and as such, right, does require a lot of effort, does require a lot of stress And that stress can come tumbling down eventually. I wonder what would have happened if we just let this thing, continue. Because clearly what happened there, right, is that Ahiru almost took the blame for her falling, right? Because she yelled out at the same time that Ruchan fell. So it seems that your distraction was the thing that broke her focus and allowed her to fall. But we, the audience, know that that wasn't the case. If Ahiru almost didn't speak there, then Ruchan's just falling on her own terms and she doesn't have an excuse, and she's no longer, we're breaking the veneer there, we're breaking that perfect view of her. So in that way, you almost saved her doubly so. You saved her reputation there too. Once again, I think this is all very pointed. There's a knight, there's a raven, there's a prince and a princess. I don't know. I think we can... The Raven thing's confusing me. I thought that this was easy to slot into each character early on, but now I'm second guessing. I guess I'll wait for more examples to see if this is a thing that we're doing, but it seems that, again in this case, the emotion that we got from the previous episode is the one that Muto-senpai is openly taking on in the following episode, right? It's very contiguous in that way. So again, we had Ebine last episode. She was very lonely. Again, her partner passed away, of course. And then the feeling that Muto-senpai is feeling here is loneliness, right? I'll need to revisit the start of the next episode to see if he's feeling particularly sorrowful, but maybe. Potentially. Yeah, I just like how contiguous that is, I guess, that we are literally adding these emotions and he is feeling them in real time. And again, for somebody that has no concept of that feeling of loneliness, he just kind of gets the sense of somebody calling to him, even if they're not, which, again, is kind of a really poetic way to think about loneliness almost. And here we go with Fakir, right? Muto is regaining his heart, right? That's also something that Ruchan knows about, but again, that puts a lot of pieces together. You know the story. You know that he's the prince. You know that he is bereft of emotions right now, and you want it to stay that way. Where does that place you almost? What is your motive in thinking that way? It's intriguing to me. And of course, I'm very quick to see the again the girl on girl stuff when it comes to shipping and whatnot. But absolutely, we have the boys doing their thing here, 100%. Like, there must be so much fan art of these two doing things. That's just the vibe I'm getting. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base there. The background here is interesting. That's almost a black swan. A little bit, maybe. The mirror here is also a nice touch, again, in a scene where both characters are being quite self-reflective. You on why you feel this way, and you on why you're experiencing these new feelings. Again, the place which we, I guess, set the scenes is very important too. I like that the show remembers that. I hope you guys like the cat guy and his one joke about the marry me thing, because it is his one joke. For the record, I do enjoy it. It's just a real great non sequitur. It's quite funny. Again, this episode's thesis statement is comparison between Ahiru and Ruchan. That's the point of it. So again, she's up here doing probation because she yelled out when she did, and then she looks down and she sees this. She's with the boy I like. That sucks. She's the perfect dancer. That sucks. She's the, head of the class, most popular girl in school. I'm just a duck. That sucks. But when I'm Tutu, I'm able to surpass her? Interesting stuff, of course. So then there's the solution, right? I must, to get the things that I want, Muto-senpai, I must be Princess Tutu in doing so. But seems that there's a bit of a curse, a bit of, destiny at play. If I am to confess ever my true feelings for him, I'll pass away into dust or something, into light. I'll drift away. That doesn't sound very good. Again, it's all just... that's the conundrum for Ahiru, absolutely, I see you, I want to be you, I can be better than you sometimes, but it still doesn't get me what I ultimately want. And she deals with this fact first through denial, right? She's like, well, that's just the story. But, well, Muto is also the prince from the story, so I can't just deny the fact that stories are just stories anymore. Stories are reality. Stories blend with fiction in this world, And then, yeah, continuing to deny herself, basically. I'm just doing this for Muto-senpai's sake. I'm not doing it for any other personal feelings. Which, again, is cope. She's very mad about that. You can see it through the animation. Very cool. There's also, Stevie Wonder Penguin here. I liked him. Look, he's just kind of chill. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. There's a very overt use of a particular piece here, which I'm ascribing to Ruchan as her song. It's definitely, I recognize it. It's from one of the ballets we've been talking about. To me, without knowing the context of that particular use of that song in the ballet, which again, if people know the name, then have additional context, I'm all ears. But to me, it's like I'm putting like a spell over you almost, right? Like, I'm in complete control. I'm like guiding you on this like tour of something, right? It feels almost like I'm in a daze, or I've been like hypnotized or something, and I'm, being led down a path, astray almost. Which is kind of what she's doing here. She's essentially like, hey, you love me, right? Like taking advantage of his emotionless status and his ability to just do whatever I say, right? And again, keeping him in the dark. You don't need to understand anything. And Muto Senpai is almost like very rude here because, again, she's like, you don't need to have a heart either. But then he's like, well, I clearly still have the feeling of missing someone, and when I see you, that feeling doesn't go away, which is like rude. I don't know. Again, all it's to say is that things aren't going as they were previously. He is gaining his emotions back. You fear that. Again, clearly, like, Rushan likes Muto Senpai. She wants to be with him. Right now, it's easy. Right now, I'm in complete control over him, Right now, I'm the most perfectest girl in school and can just manipulate him any which way, right? He'll always come back to me because I'm at the top of the tree. She's scared that if he's being genuine and has all his emotions, he may choose somebody else over me. This feeling is only exacerbated through the events of episode 5, right? Where it's clear that he's been dancing with Tutu previous to him coming and seeing me near the bonfire. That's crazy. She's stealing my boyfriend. So she feels very jealous towards Tutu as the ID there. Unbeknownst to her, of course, it's Ahiru, which is the that's the drama, that's the irony. Needless to say, it seems that she's in control right now, but that control is being wrenched away from her, and it's, revealing that she actually is quite fragile, Like, she's almost using his emotionless status right now as a crutch, and as we move further, like, away from that crutch and her able to use that, she's going to break down before she builds back up again, I feel. And then Fakir's he's just a mean boy. He's just mean constantly. Very defensive of Muto Senpai. Instantly, like, suspecting Ruchan of being the one that's giving him the feelings. But that's not what's occurring. I think that's an interesting shot. They're very close to each other there. It's almost some Utena areas there too. Oh, some kind of cage or something. Some gazebo type number. Very interesting. Anyway, I don't know. This is giving me things that I don't think the show wants to happen yet, I guess. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Back with Ahiru, she's locking the fuck in. The friends are confused because she's actually being, quite studious at the moment, which is nice. So we snap her neck to make up for it. So yeah, Ahiru really inspired. Doing her dances the way she should. Inspires her friends to help her along. Cat Sensei is really happy too, all part of his master plan, of course. Keikaku Dori, says Cat Sensei. And then he's up there like aura farming. He looks like Piccolo or something up there. We see the fit, buddy. Come on, just settle down. I'd say the proper plot of the episode starts here, which is a bit of a weird spot, but like almost halfway through, which is the Giselle stuff, right? He's like talking to nothing at the moment and then like almost gets spirited away, drifts off somewhere where he's not supposed to go. This is again his emotionless status being manipulated, right? It's been done so by Auntie Dorina, by Ebene, right, who wanted him to stay there and eat as much food as possible. He's just bending to anybody's whim and will, right? And Muto Senpai will die if he was to follow through with this, which is weird, right? Where again, the Giselle we're using here is almost like a flip on... It's like a bad end of the Giselle from, like, her play, right? So again, it's a girl, she dies, right? Then Prince, or her play, her ballet, excuse me, her prince shows up, right? Gets surrounded by a bunch of girls, right? In her ballet, she saves him, right? Her love for him saves him. That's not what occurs in this timeline. It's almost like this character where we've like stopped her before her happy ending, and now she's moving into our story and almost stealing Muto Senpai away, and ultimately almost becoming the Willis in herself, almost. Like she's becoming this person that's invading somebody else's narrative and killing them, right? And killing this guy because she's kind of scornful. That's interesting. It's like a really fun subversion. Therefore, we can then become like the good Giselle that saves our prince. Yeah, interesting. Hang on, why is she caked up in this one frame? What's going on there? Everyone needs to... Bro, 2000s anime people need to calm down. I do think one of the best aspects of this episode is seeing the odd couple nature of Ruchan and Ahiru, right? Prim, proper, official, knows what she's talking about, is a duck. Like, there's clearly a contrast there, and we're playing off of it well. It's the first extended period we've seen these two together, despite them both being very important characters. Oh my god, she has, like, duck pants on. That's fantastic, too. Yeah, I like their character dynamic. It carries the episode quite well. It's the original Odd Couple a little bit. So what I was talking about before makes this scene very interesting, right? Because my running theory is that Ruchan must have known when she was dancing before that she was almost at her wit's end, right? That she didn't fall over because of a lack of focus or, Ahiru breaking said focus. She was going to fall because the, routine was too hard and it was too much for her. Like, she must know that deep down, no? So she's openly still in denial about that in front of Ahiru? When she must know why you were calling out? Yeah, that's a lot of ego, man. Yeah, that's a big old lie. You're lying to yourself as well. That's crazy. She is kind of giving Ronald McDonald a little bit. Just a little bit. I like the fit. The fit's good. Just, I don't know about the shoes. Fix up the shoes, maybe. Could be doing some interesting Hanakotoba stuff here. I don't know, I saw a pink rose. I always like to see a pink rose. It just brings me joy. And again, associating that with Fakir looking for Muto Senpai. Not sure if I can see anything in that, but sure. It looks cool. This is a cool looking frame. What do we think about this part where Ahiru, like, accidentally mocks Ruchan by copying her tone of voice? Again, you're very quick as a runner. You just sprint off ahead looking for Muto Senpai. And then Ruchan has to catch up. She's obviously out of breath, and then you mimic that. I hate mocking. Like, mocking is one of the most infuriating things people can do. But I don't think she's doing it on purpose either. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was a cute moment. So, again, I feel like I'm skipping through this episode a little bit fast. There's a ton of great animation in this thing, absolutely. Like, I should frame by frame this show a little bit more. It's a good looking one for that, absolutely. Okay, this is a really interesting moment too on a rewatch. Okay, so Ahiru suggests that, splitting up would be better, cover more ground, blah, 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 blah. Initially, Ruchan's on board, but then she almost considers it for a moment here, where then she changes her mind and wants the two of them to instead stick together. Is she even, at this time, a little bit suspicious of Ahiru as it pertains to Muto Senpai? Right? Where it's like, okay, you were shouting out to him before and he's clearly disappeared now. I, really like him. I like to feign that I'm a little bit more carefree than I am about him. And yeah, I might be concerned about Ahiru as it pertains to him. I'd hate for her to find him and get a leg up on me. I would rather the both of us find him together so then I can, she'll take a step back. Yeah, it's a really interesting scene for her. Because again, she must think that at this point they're going to find him, and when they do, he'll come straight to me. He won't go to her, Yeah. I think it's very, very, very cynical from Ruchan. And yeah, this general tone now continues. This is pretty obvious now. Because then she gets all mad that you're all buddy-buddy with him, right? You call him Muto, that's all very close, right? Well, you give him the correct, the proper amount of formality in the language and that kind of thing. And once again tries to cement her superiority. Call me Ru-sama, right? This Ruchan thing is pissing me off. We're not on the same level. I'm above you. This is a very, very obvious line in the episode now. One that gets shattered upon the ending, where Tutu is able to do something that I can't. Yeah, and she's all just very protagonisty. I'd rather call you Ruchan because we're already friends, we're already that close, and it's cuter. And I think you're cute, and that's a cute name that can go along with a cute girl. Again, it's just, I've seen this play out a million times. It's classic. Just, yeah, I don't know if you would almost call it Genki. It's there, I think. Like, that kind of character archetype. I think she's there, I think, Ahiru, for sure. Just, nothing ever really gets her down for that long. She's always pretty positive. At this point in the episode, I said something very funny. Like, before those ghosts showed up, I was like, where's this episode going? And then, lo and behold, I was thinking the same thing again. I'm like, where did the ghosts show up? Oh, right now. It almost kicks in right at that right moment, I would say. I love the way they're drawn too. I wonder if this effect over the top of them is like a post-processing thing. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know too much about animation of this era, I guess I would say, to be able to tell you anything. Like, is this like fog effect something we've put over the top, or is it drawn in? Like, I guess that's a question for the audience. Oh yeah, I forgot that Edel was in this thing. Yeah, she's always saying some cryptic bullshit, so let's see what she says. It seems that Edel and Ahiru are fast friends. She already considers her a trusted ally that isn't suspicious at all. I'm with Ruchan. I still think that she's pretty suspicious, even if I don't think that she means any harm. I would love to know more about her, I guess, is my point there. She's also very good for exposition. She's the one that alerts us to what's going on here. It's the story of Giselle. There was once a beautiful maiden with a beautiful heart. All maidens fall in love, but the man she fell in love with was a noble unlike her. It was a love never to be requited. Therefore, she took her own life. If her love would not be requited in this world, then she would be reborn and see her love fulfilled then. So yeah, basically from that point, right, now she's escaped the story, right, and she's drawing Muto-senpai in as the stand-in prince, right, like what we were talking about before. But again, like, skipping ahead, she isn't, like, there to, like, save him. She's gonna kill him if she, you know, if things continue the way they're going. Like, she's almost... She doesn't have enough juice to do it here, you know? Neither does Ruchan, for the record, as well. Like, it's all very interesting to me. That's weird. Again, and it's always in this town where reality and stories kind of intermingle. We're always going to have that kind of, you know, intertextual thing going on. Again, there was some Hansel and Gretel stuff last week. Like, that's what we're doing there, you know? Edel points us in the right direction, and here we are. We found Muto-senpai. And it's very clear to see he's being manipulated here, right? So you say I'm that person. If you say so, then maybe I am. I'm being convinced by Giselle that I'm part of her story. This is when the show reveals that it also has the source, because like this just looks fantastic already. Just some of the colors, man, holy shit. The sound effects too, like they're just killing it. This is another thing that's constantly showing up with Ruchan. She's knowledgeable of these stories. So she sees that Giselle is offering Muto-senpai some rosemary. She knows that that will take him to the world of the dead. So don't take that. I'm going to like dance battle you to make sure that Muto-senpai doesn't take that flower. And I think purposefully so, it's quite similar to the dance that she was doing in the start of the episode. Like, it's that same kind of routine that she was struggling with, a lot of stuff on the tippy toes. And she is also dancing against the literal character from the literal story. It is probably the most perfect rendition of this dance that you can do. And she's up against it, right? So I need to reread my Giselle stuff. Hang on a second. Yeah, I guess something I didn't consider is that she's always still just gonna be dead. So they're never gonna have a happily ever after. Because again, she saves Albrecht from being pulled from the land of the living to the land of the dead, right? But that in itself is also sacrificial, because I'm never going to be able to see him again. He can also, you know, like, mourn at my grave, but he's never going to, like, love me, if that makes any sense. It's still too little too late. I'm already dead. So there's still a tragedy there, I guess. Once again, this is like a scorned Giselle almost, right? That doesn't feel that power of love, that isn't compelled in the same way that she is in the story. This is one that instead, you know, wants to bring him to the land of the dead. Almost, the name was Mithra there, I believe, something like that. She's almost taken on that role. Where again, Tutu needs to stand up and be this force that's going to protect him and maybe even be sacrificial for him, you know? That's the thing with the lamp. Next episode is my point, right? Where it seems that she's going to take on this role of almost facilitating Ru and Muto's love, right? Where I'm going to stand back and shine the light on them, as opposed to being in the light myself. Like, am I making any sense here? It seems that continuously Princess Tutu is taking these roles, or Ahiru, is taking these roles whereby I'm going to save the day. I'm going to do something for Muto Senpai's benefit without outright getting that reward, without outright getting that confession, without being with him. Yeah, I think that's very pointed. That's all I wanted to say there. From there, we do transformation sequence. Princess Tutu gets summoned, of course. There's also... Okay, so this is very important to note. We've kind of left Ahiru in the dust by this point, right? Kind of you stepped forth while Ahiru like stood in the back. So you're not cognizant of you being Ahiru at all. Like, that's very obvious, right? There's this shot here where she kind of like rushes through the air in like a pink... like something like that. She goes crazy. Like, she kind of appears out of nowhere to Ruchan's perspective. And yeah, there we have it. I am fated to never be with the one I love, just like you. It's kind of what I was talking about before. This is a way more straightforward way of saying it. She's willing and able to take these sacrificial roles without getting the love, I guess. So another interesting read here is that, again, we're united in the fact that we're never going to be with our beloveds, right? Through death, through other barriers, through story, through lots of things. So we're almost taking the place of each other's partner here by dancing with each other, which I think is a really empowering and cool scene, right? It's taking a really, really positive view of the roles that we've almost been given in our respective stories and trying to make the best of it. Like, it's really kind of heartwarming, almost. But again, then you spin it for Rue, right? Where she's like watching this and it's like, okay, well, you're doing now everything that I want to do as well. Be the heroine and save the day, right? But I get to be with Muto Senpai, but it's kind of hollow, you know? Like, she's obviously not feeling good in this either. Like, and she's looking at you with a lot of jealousy. It's a very complicated feeling there. The other more obvious angle here as well is that she's a better dancer than me. I wasn't able to complete the routine. She's doing it with ease. She's matching Giselle. I can't do that, you know? So yeah, it's almost like Tutu here teaches Giselle the moral of her original story, because her story never had an ending. She never did learn the moral there, which is to be happy, you know, to not hold such sorrow, to hold such strong opinions like that, but to be happy in spite of it, you know? Which, again, is pretty basic, but still, you know, take the high road a little bit. Don't, you know, act like a woman scorned because of the bad things that happened to you. Only want the best for this person that you supposedly love. Instead of drowning in sorrow, feel that happiness. Yeah. Don't worry, be happy, basically. Just, yeah, even if I don't fully understand everything that's going on here, again, I'm feeling it a lot. I like this moment quite a bit, where the two of them just comfort each other, right? You don't have to grieve anymore. I'm almost letting you let go of your sorrow. And in turn here, we must also, you know, this is an emotion of Muto Senpai, right? I'm returning this sorrow now to him, but I'm also accepting it, you know? I'm accepting all these bad negative feelings that have stayed hidden. You know? Yeah, it's an interesting one. I like this image here too. It's kind of like we broke the curse, you know? Yeah, I like it a lot. Just, yeah, it's interesting that until, I guess, the next episode, all the emotions that you had been gathering had been negative ones, right? But again, my read is that so you can feel the positive ones, so you can feel that positive other side to them. And yeah, kind of the very end there is just Ruchan left in awe as Princess Tutu runs away. Mrs. Steal Your Girl. Or Miss Steal Your Girl, I guess. Yeah, she's doing it. Or I guess Steal Your Boy. That's probably more. Anyway, next episode. So our opening little scene here is about a happy prince. A happy prince that never felt any of the bad emotions. I feel like this happy prince is what Fakir is trying to push, right? Where again, you're happy because happy is most people's default emotion, even though it isn't, but anyway. But the prince also obtained a comforting warmth. This warmth emanated not only tranquility, but also unhappiness, pain, and loneliness. Which again are kind of the things that, you know, the lamp is shining onto us and, you know, shining down on this scene, but also it's kind of what Ahiru is doing towards the end, the things that she's feeling, you know. Episode proper starts now. Ruchan is researching in the wake of everything that's happened. Again, I want to read into the story proper by Drosselmeyer to see, you know, about the story of the Prince and the Raven. I know that Muto is the prince. I want to brush up on a few things because of the Princess Tutu things that are happening, you know? And Fakir clocks this immediately. Okay, well, you're clearly researching Muto-senpai, right? You want to see what he was like before his emotions got taken away. That implicates you. If his emotions are coming back and he hangs around you a lot, maybe you're pushing for those emotions to come back. And this is what I was looking for. Cool. So, clearly Rue has done the reading here now, right? And sees that Princess Tutu is part of this story, right? This would be Prince. This would be storyteller of some kind. You know, your Drosselmeyer, that kind of dude. And this would be Princess Tutu. Part dancer, part human, part girl, part dark, right? Like, that's clearly what we're gathering at there. Because again, Fakir, you're on the wrong trail. It's not me that's bringing these emotions back, it's Princess Tutu. She's part of the story, you know? And what would you do if Princess Tutu really existed? It's like, what, did something happen? Oh no, nothing happened. And here we have on the night of the Fire Festival. Also, I'm going to search whatever the hell this is. I think this one might be a little above my pay grade, let's say. So Pictures at an Exhibition is a piano suite in 10 movements. Sure. It is a musical depiction of a tour of an exhibition of works by architect and painter Victor Hartmann, which we can see some of the art there. Huh. Seems very arty. Very, very arty. And, yeah, potentially, again, somebody in the comments could talk to this with a little bit more authority. I'm not seeing any strong connection this to the light stuff either, really. Once again, we're going to take off our analysis hats for a moment and we're going to put on our This Is Adorable hats and we're going to say that Lily's the best. She's the best character by a country mile. Look at this frame. I want it framed. I just think it's awesome. I don't know. I love this shit. Look how she roughs up her head here too. Like, oh, hang on. VLC, behave. Look at this. Look at this shit. Ready? Wonderful. Also, tactical escape by a pirouette there too. Just hilarious. Hilarious show. Anyway, there's a fire festival. You're meant to dance by the bonfire and be with your beloved. It's very pointed that Ahiru doesn't do that, but it's also very pointed that Ruchan doesn't either because she's late. Neither get to dance at the bonfire. Oh, they also dress in old-timey clothes. That's why they're dressed that way. Okay, missed that line. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Golden apple's very interesting too. I mean, I attached it into a lot of the normal apple symbolism, which is some, you know, biblical, you know, Adam and Eve type stuff, of course. I don't know, I'm basically implanting a lot of my penguin drum into there. There's like a fatedness to like sharing an apple together, which is kind of what we're pulling from here. But it matters not because we do not follow through on it. Nobody shares no golden apple with anybody. So unless that happens later, we're going to just drop it. We're really, really hammering home this Ahiru feels, you know, not worthy, not on the same level as Muto-senpai type plot point. If anything, probably a little bit too much if I'm honest. She's pretty down in the dumps, pretty constantly about not getting to be with him, which again makes these fleeting encounters like this one all the more painful for her, you know? I'm getting a taste of something which I'm never allowed to have. And I like these warnings here from Drosselmeyer, who continues to appear, not often, but sometimes, with the warnings, right? Don't forget now, if you fall in love with him, if you confess your love to him, you will disappear. The princess that saves the prince is fated never to be with him. That's how the story works, you know? You can't escape that fate, Ahiru. But despite all these warning signs, she still goes ahead and lets herself have this little scene with him, you know? She almost can't help herself. She's being tempted over to Muto-senpai's side. And how could you not? Look at those eyes. A couple other interesting things that happen here. I guess prominent things. He calls Ahiru by her name. He remembered the name. He kept it in mind. He wanted to dance with her. He's actively dancing of his own will. He is not being asked to. He's not being pulled along by somebody else. He is doing it because he's feeling feelings again. Once again, we said that, you know, he was curious if you're going to the festival. That's something there too. He's feeling lonesome without, you know, a certain person. It's all adding up, you know. He could be starting to gain some feelings for you. This is when Fakir's starting to get a little bit sick of Ahiru's stuff as well. He's been looking for Muto-senpai, and here he is dancing with commoner filth. How dare he? She's stealing my boyfriend, oh no. And once again, I mean, she's just adorable. I like how nervous she gets and how flustered and happy she is at this whole encounter. It's Just very relatable. It's nice. Tell you what, we haven't really been using the whole quack and you turn into a duck thing as often as we have previously, to the point where I even forgot it was a thing until she did it here. So I don't know, maybe we bring that one back in a bit more of a concrete way as we continue. You know, her being unable to escape her duck status and defaulting to whatever her destiny is. Again, it is in her name. I don't know, room for more stuff there maybe. There's also this moment where, again, she catches herself. This scene that I just had with Muto-senpai, he was raiding for Ru, right? Ru was meant to come to that room. They were meant to share that dance. I almost felt like I was just the placeholder for her, you know, at that time. Like, that doesn't feel almost as correct, maybe, as it should. I don't know. Once again, it feels like Tutu's stealing Ruchan's moment as well, because again, we invite her to the fire. I'm not there. I'm instead dancing with Tutu. There's a bit of, you know, I'm just stealing Ruchan's moments. It's almost like she's destined for him, and I'm just kind of sneaking in and jumping in the way. Either way, Fakir comes in here, confronts Muto about what's been happening, and a few interesting things are revealed once again. I think the thing that really flings Fakir into the rage here is the fact that he danced of his own volition with Ruchan. Well, not with Ruchan, with Ahiru, right? Like, Ahiru didn't ask him to dance, and he obliged, which would have been par for the course had he had no emotions. He had his own internal drive that made him want to do this with her, which is scary. I want to control you and I can't, you know? You wanted to put on this outfit for Ruchan, right? You know, it's all... You're starting to have opinions of your own. Stop. Don't get interested in stupid things. When you were wandering without any memory, I was the one that gave you the name of Muto. Okay, interesting. I'm seeing almost like a faux father figure thing here, maybe. You know, I'm the one that gave you your name. Don't do anything, you know, without me saying it. He's like a controlling parent, almost. But what is his skin in the game is my point. Why do you feel so strongly about this, you know? Why did you feel the need to save him at all, you know? And give him a name? Why did you do any of that? Do you like him? Is that where we're going with this? I know you're very affectionate of him. You're touching his face and stuff. It's probably in the, you know, vicinity of being plausible, you would say. Being the way you are now is what's for the best? That's a crazy line too. I like you just the way you are. You have no need to change and gain all these other emotions and be with these other girls. I don't know. I don't know. Fakir then learns that Ru and Muto have a date tonight. And he's looking to put an end to that. I don't want you dancing with no other girls. You come with me. I'm going to shut you in the dark all alone. Once again, like a parent scolding a child. That's what it feels like. I wanted to pause here. They had no reason to do this shot, and they did. And I think that's admirable. I don't know, the reflection in the water as she's using it to transform back into Ahiru. I like it. It's very, very well done. This is where Ahiru kind of shoots herself in the foot too, which I find quite funny. Again, Ru has shown up, as we can see here, looking very pretty, of course. And she's just kind of confused that Ahiru's here. And then Ahiru mentions Muto-senpai. And again, we already know from last episode, you're kind of really protective there. So then she gets immediately pissed off. She's like, what do you know about him? Of course I'm looking for him, but why do you know that? Are you in my territory? What are you planning? And she comes up with some quick excuse about cleaning. We love to see it. Thinking on her feet, our duck girl. There's also a fun moment here where Ru almost seems like relieved upon hearing that Ahiru didn't follow Muto, right? That Muto left, he went somewhere else, and that she didn't follow. She's like, oh, okay, you know, this mustn't be what I think it is. This mustn't be, you know, as close of a rivalry as I thought. She mustn't be as interested as I thought. She isn't chasing him like the other day. I have no need to be on the defensive here, I guess. Her read is also that upon the end there, the whole Giselle ghost number, you just ran away. Of course, not knowing the Tutu connection. Again, she feels a lot less threatened, albeit still a little bit threatened by Ahiru. And this is when she's like just like a good girl. So Ahiru assures Ruchan that Muto will dance with her. You're like a real princess, and you really suit each other, so I'm sure you'll get the golden apple. This is like her dream. Our hero is no longer a romantic rival, and she's wishing me the best, and she just called me a princess? really cute moment. Loved it. I don't know. I'm feeling Ruchan a lot. I think that she's a great character. I don't know. Just seeing a character like that with just a little bit of blush is it's tale as old as time, but it works every time. It's very good. And now we're kind of damsel in distressifying Muto again, which I hope we keep doing. It's very interesting to me. Where again, he's almost locked up in the tallest tower in the land up there, right? And we need to go save him. Like, that's very fun to me. It's a fun subversion, of course. Considering the whole prince thing and the princess thing, we're doing the opposite. It's great fun. This is where Ahiru just, like, big time puts a foot in her mouth, though. So instantly we see Fakir locking Muto, like, in this room, not really even listening to the rest of the stuff he has to say. She pushes him to the ground and says, no, you need to dance with Ruchan. You've finally regained some shards of your heart. Like, you just gave the whole game away, buddy. But I guess you don't know that he knows yet. So just be a bit smarter next time, just a little bit. And yeah, because she said that, now Fakir thinks you know more than you ultimately do. Like, he reveals here that Ruchan also knows. So he almost thinks that Ru and you are in cahoots, which isn't the truth at all, really. Like, you two must be working together to get his emotions back. Where again, you want to defend those emotions, or defend him from emotions so very much and keep him emotionless, right? Keep him in the dark without any of the light of the emotions, you know? Another thing Fakir here says, I'm just very interested to see what his skin in the game is, because he's like, I know Muto, right? I know everything about him. What do you know about him? Like, that's very defensive. Once again, I'm seeing parent in it, you know? I've known him from the jump, since he was reborn almost, you know? What do you know about him? You're a newcomer, you're coming into the story a little bit later. And Ahiru's like, no, I don't know him, but I do know that emotions are, like, good. Like, he won't know whether he feels happy or in love or any of these really positive emotions, you know? So let him experience these things. Don't be so controlling of him. You're a fool. Don't give him any emotions. If he does, I'll seal them away again. If I shut him away in the darkness, he'll eventually become numb to the dark as well. Very, very interesting lines. Okay, let's finish the scene here. I want to strip away all these emotions. He'll become numb to all sensations and stop feeling altogether. Of course, Ahiru isn't going to like that. Cool. What was this line again? Hang on. Even if he regains shards of his heart, I'll seal them away. If I shut him away in the darkness, he'll eventually become numb to the dark as well. It's like, okay, it's almost like you're trying to protect him against this raven once again, you know? Like, if he becomes numb to the dark, he'll be equipped to fight this raven as well, you know, because he won't be as swayed by it, by that darkness. But to seal away the raven, he also sealed away his own emotion. I'm seeing a lot of raven in this. I'm unsure how to quantify it, though. It's weird stuff, man. I don't know. Either way, you want to take away his emotions and keep him numb and keep him in the dark. Fair enough. Obviously, she's going to disagree and want to bring the light to him. We cut away to Muto-senpai. He's kind of pulled underground by a mysterious voice. This is the lamp girl later on. We're also pulled aside by another strange girl, as Ahiru, by Idol, who says that a flame can illuminate the darkness, but without the darkness, its glow cannot even be seen. Again, just playing up that contrast. Contrast is important between all these feelings. Just kind of giving like a pep talk to Ahiru, right? I know you feel uncertain right now, but if you wish to shine for somebody, which you do as we see by the end of the episode, you must not fear the darkness. So again, don't fear what you don't understand. A path has become open to you. Head in that direction. She's very good at pointing, Idol. We like to see it. And there's a small gap there, and she's only able to access said gap because she's a duck. I think there's something in that maybe too. Or maybe not. And yeah, we enter a wonderful sequence here in like the catacombs below the library where we really play up the contrast between the light and the dark whilst answering riddles pretty poorly from this lamp girl, right? They're all about what she is, right? She is the light in the darkness. She is the thing that illuminates, and she has her own little backstory that kind of further reinforces her stuff, of course. I just really like this frame, too. I think it's really sweet. Love the decision here, too. Again, she chooses to go down the side with the darkness. I must not fear the dark, heeding Idol-sama's words. Eventually forced into a corner is Ahiru, and then the transformation begins. Again, she's going to illuminate the room herself instead of being... Again, she kind of got conned into getting trapped in the darkness, and now she needs to rely on this power to brighten herself up, you know? And we see here, as soon as she transforms, something illuminates and I'm able to see the thing I wish to see. Really love this effect here too. I think that looks quite nice. Very interesting as well. She was unable to answer the riddle as Ahiru, but as soon as she's Tutu, she completely understands that she's a lamp. She understands that all the kind of, you know, riddles there were leading to the one answer. And the lamp girl in turn, she's kind of like, okay, you're so beautiful, you're so radiant as Tutu, I wish to illuminate you. You seem like a great subject to illuminate. I love the way she's drawn as well. I mentioned this before, but the lack of detail is doing a lot here for me. Like, again, she is a pretty basic kind of household object, but putting a character design as so on it is... I don't know, it just works, I think. And then the effect there? What are they even doing there with the fire? Look at that. Reminds me of Lord of the Rings. If you know the scene I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, I guess. Of course, that flame effect also builds into the bonfire that's occurring outside. We get a peek there, and Ruchan is still kind of waiting for Muto. I think this is interesting as well. Initially, it's like, hey, will you dance with me, lamp girl, right? It's like, no, I would prefer that you dance and I'll illuminate you. That's really interesting. It's kind of what happens at the end of the episode as well, right? It's like, no, I'm not the one that's ever chosen to dance. I'm the one that just, you know, builds everybody else up instead and allows them to shine the brightest. Just this person that helps without ever reaping any reward from it. We're, you know, never really being the star, always being the support. And then Tutu's like, this light's fucking hella good. Why do you do that, right? It's like, well, I want to illuminate the right subjects. I want to envelop them gently in a warm light. And, you know, again, instead of the cold darkness, we have the warm light. That's the kind of the feeling here, right? I want to reinforce their strong emotions and highlight their best moments. That's all. I don't want anything else. I think there's something here too with the lamp almost becoming obsolete to, you know, other conventional lighting methods. So then it doesn't get used and kind of gets put away. So again, everybody else that I used to illuminate, they mustn't have any need for me. I kind of get tossed away and cast aside, and I feel really lost and forgotten because of that, really lonely. I thought they enjoyed my presence, but they really enjoyed my function. It's all very interesting because this all applies to Ahiru in but a moment. She is the facilitator, but not the one that experiences any of the joy. Will she eventually be similarly cast aside? And again, because Muto is emotionally manipulatable, he listens to me. I want somebody to illuminate. He is deemed important enough to be worthy of illumination. I want to do this for him, and he's going to do it for me too. But again, like everything, it's hollow. He's not doing it on his own accord. He's just following orders because he's like a husk, you know? And I guess the moral here is that you can't force your light on other people, right? Again, I'm sorry for your current situation. I'm sorry that those people that you used to illuminate aren't there anymore. I appreciate your light, says Tutu. But you can't just force somebody here to accept it. And again, I guess I'm trying to spin that into Ahiru's feelings, which I think is what we're trying to do as well, right? Because she's really feeling this moment for sure. I guess you can't force things. Like, you forced yourself into that situation before where you kind of stole Ru's place, right? And instead of doing that, instead of forcing him to be with me or with you, let's let him naturally find his own partner, you know? Let him go to Ruchan, he's like destined or whatever, and us facilitate that and be happy enough as facilitators, you know? Because ultimately, if we care about his happiness above all other things, then, you know, he'll be happy with her. And that's, we can be happy about that, you know? Again, we're kindred spirits almost, you know? We're very, very similar, these two. And apparently the feeling at play here is affection, and that affection taking the form of illumination. Of course, you know, the light versus the darkness there too. Very curious, it's probably the first positive emotion that we're giving to Muto-senpai. And instead of sharing a moment here, Tutu then quickly pushes Muto. No, you must leave this spot, there is somebody waiting for you. And she's right. Look, Ru was still waiting. This is so cute. After they're like packing up the party, she was still here on Ahiru's advice that the prince will come, that Muto will be here. She was still waiting. That's adorable. I love that. So then they have their little moment, right? We play that theme again, that kind of Ruchan theme, which I think is very interesting. And also Muto dances on his own accord again, much like he did in the room before with Ahiru. But instead, this time Ahiru is off to the sidelines, watching, with lamp in hand, happy enough to be the facilitator here, happy enough to illuminate their romance and their moments, This is how it should be, right? Me and the lamp girl, we're the same. And yeah, that's when it happens. I do think there's a nice little cute frame here. Hang on. Where Rue's looking all smitten that I like. Right there. I like that. But then she notices that Muto, in turn, is also looking very love-struck. And it's like, no, you must have had more experiences with Tutu and gained more emotions and stuff. And I feel slighted by that, I guess. You're even more emotional now than you were earlier before. That means you must have progressed more. Therefore, you're cheating on me. A little bit. Kind of. It's almost like you're not the man I married. You're not emotionless enough. And of course, you're thinking the same thing. He's definitely not emotionless enough. But I guess the most pressing thing here would be noticing that Ru-chan is also, I guess, taken aback by that. She wasn't personally involved. She's not the main one here. She's not the mastermind behind this. It's somebody else. All that attention now from Fakir is probably going to move on to Ahiru, you'd think, considering all this, right? I don't know, I think this is a really, really interesting endpoint for our main kind of 4 characters, just all rushing off in various directions, all having seen this scene, all feeling various things about it. It's just really great tension. Love it. And yeah, Drosselmeyer says some BS here about the prince regaining the feeling of affection, but did that create like another effect whereby Ahiru's unhappiness was increased as a result because she's no longer able to be with him? Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know. It's a weird ending line. I'm unsure, Drosselmeyer. I really am. That was a whole lot of yap, but I like yapping about Princess Tutu, so I'm happy that I did it. God, the hair's terrible today. What am I doing? Anyway. You will see me next week. That episode was great. Well, both were great. Yeah, Patreon if you want to be that 1 week ahead. Like the video, subscribe. I'm out of here. See ya. Bye.